chocolate 嘛。
係啦，係啊。Hi guys. Now, if you have always wanted to stay in properties that are situated in nice residential areas, self-contained townships, beautiful landscaping, good facilities, swimming pool, clubhouses, this kind of thing, but you have also always been worried that they may be too expensive, well, there is a new and exciting development. Okay, so go check out duduk.my, duduk.my. Go register your interest for this very, very exciting property development by a reputable developer that will bring you all these at an affordable price. Okay, guys, so this morning just sent the S-Max in for bodywork repairs, and yeah, so got a tow truck to come and pick the car up. The workshop quoted me an estimated damage of about somewhere between 500 to 1,000 ringgit, depending on severe damage behind the bumper. But I don't think that's the case because it was a very low speed collision. I'm envisioning most that needs to be done is a respray of the bumper, and that's it. Fortunately, there were no metalwork damage that I could see. So it's just going to be a simple knock and respray of the bumper, and that's good. Okay, then later separately, I will be sending the car in to the Ford outlet where I'll get the taillights replaced and also have the car go through its regular service, which it was due last month but postponed because of the movement control order. So that one, now for the servicing part, servicing will be free, okay, because the car still has its free service package, right? The car came new with 3 years of free service. By the time I bought the car, it was 1.5 years old, so it means it still had 1.5 years of free service left. So to date, I've used up one service and I have 2 more left to go. Okay, now, but the taillight replacement, that will cost a bit more money. The taillight unit is 2,000 ringgit. Not cheap, yes, but cheaper than I expected, considering it's a rare car, all right, a rare taillight unit, full LED, and coming from official service center. So yeah, cheaper than I expected, but and surprisingly got stock. So I don't have to wait for the thing to be shipped in from Europe. Now, the other thing is that the lower reflector piece, not down at the bumper, that one is surprisingly expensive. That is 600 bucks and needs to be ordered from Europe. So I told them, no need, okay, just replace the tail light. I can do without the reflector because for the S-Max, only the driver's side fog light is active. The passenger side, that one is a blank reflector. So that's a bit of money saved there. Okay, I would have paid 600 bucks if it was a functioning fog light, but since it's just a reflector, I can live with a cracked reflector. Okay, yeah. So that brings me to address another another topic, which is the the whole thing about servicing cars during this MCO period. Now, I know the government has eased, has allowed workshops to operate during this period, but there are quite a number of caveats involved. One, you can only drop off. Service has to be on a per appointment basis. You can only drop off, means that you can't sit there and wait for your car to be serviced. Okay, and I think for all the official service centers, there will be strict disinfection protocols for your car. So they're gonna have to like spray all whatever lah, cleaning things to clean your car. Now, the social distancing part, okay, of sending your car to the workshop. So you drop your car to the workshop, then after that, how are you going to go home? You're going to have to take Grab or whatever lah. you can't get your family member to come and pick you up because if let's say like you drive past a roadblock, you see police see you got two people in the car, you're gonna kena tangkap or kena saman and all that. So, and sending your car to picking you up from workshop, that is not, I would think, a strong enough explanation. And don't forget, you're gonna have to go back there to pick the car up. So I figured that sending the car in by tow truck is will incur a bit of extra expense, but it's a far more convenient approach in this in our current circumstance. So I mean, especially those of you guys, right? If let's say like you want to, if you are like those with BMW free service, Mazda free service, you want to service your car during this period, you already don't have to pay for servicing, right? Why not fork out the extra 150, $200 to pay a tow truck and take your car in, okay? Because don't forget, the tow truck operator could use that extra cash during this period as well. You may even be able to if you find the right tow truck, maybe he will even give you a special price. You never know. Okay, so yeah, so after the S-Max is done with the bodywork, then later I have to separately arrange another tow truck to send the car from the body shop to the Ford service center and commence the repairs. Okay, so yeah, and my other cars, the E39 also is actually due for servicing soon, but because of MCO, because the MCO is extended to phase 4, that one also will have to be postponed. The Wajah is due for its service end of May. We don't know lah whether that one will gonna postpone or not. But still, right now for the rest of the video, I shall continue with Q&A. And first question, Yong Yao Lo. Budgeted about 100K for a 740 Li 2012 to 2014, that will be the F01, or 2011 to 2013 S300L, that would be the W221. What is your pick and why? I'm trying something away from Volvo. Have driven the 240 GL, S60, S70, S80 and XC90. Within these two choices, now I'm not really much of a 7 Series or an S-Class person, but of course, well, if your car is going to be chauffeur driven, the S-Class is a better choice. But if you're going to drive the car yourself, I would definitely recommend the 7 Series, because the 7 Series driving dynamics is nicer driving dynamics. The 740 Li has the 3-liter N54 engine, the twin turbo engine, right? Whereas the S300L has the what do you call that? The 3-liter V6 NA, and from a purely performance standpoint, yeah, for the same amount of money, really, it's an easy decision. 740 Li, because for the same amount of money, newer car, more powerful car, same amount of road tax. Okay, no contest. In this particular context, I would go for the 7 Series. Rion Lau 883R, set in the 3rd generation X6. While the interior is a lot more updated now, it's still a rich man's toy. At 700,000, it's definitely a rich man's toy, okay? Which does not have practicality design and built into it. The boot is still sedan shaped thanks to sloping rear roofline. Back seats are acutely angled. Bum seats lower angle than knee point. Headroom is still limited, but it's an awesome drive nonetheless. You see, that's the whole point. Because the target customer of the BMW X6 is somebody who can afford to have this parked alongside their X5 or their GLE or their Alphard or their Wellfire. These are people that can afford to have more than one car in their driveway, and they can afford for the X6 to not be practical and have something else to serve their family needs. Or the X6 is targeted at people. If it's an only car buyer, the X6 is then targeted at those who are either married without children, okay, or single. So I think where cars like the X6 is concerned, Practicality really is not a major attribute. Okay, it's not a sought after attribute. The more important thing is that it has to look stylish, it has to feel expensive, which well, the style part, they managed it. Okay, I think a lot of people are attracted to that coupe SUV shape. I still don't get it myself personally, to be honest. The interior, is going to take some getting used to, because I still like older fashioned BMW interiors where, you know, it's more there's more clarity, more intuitiveness in their design. There's that, you know, ease of use there. This one, yes, beautiful selection of materials, but you have to fumble your way a bit more to get to grips with its design. This is a comment on my 840i and X6 video as well. Ahmad Irfan. So, Con, here's my question. What do you do usually at this hour? Not sleeping? Well, usually I'm asleep one, but last night my daughter was being very fussy, so she slept at 1 a.m. and actually started recording that video last night at 1 a.m. Finished record and edit was about 3:30. But usually I'm asleep at that hour one. Okay, Toyota Innova X review, comment by Maliz Otai. Asal datang tengok-tengok, luar budget. Tak sangka pula gi tengok submit form lulus. Alhamdulillah berjaya gak memiliki, cuma terpaksa budget lebih pada kenderaan ini. So abang ni, dia tengok Innova, dia suka, tapi dia ingat dia ingatkan loan tak lepas. Tapi dia cuba lepas pula. So dah dapat beli kereta. So apa yang saya cuma doakan, abang murah rezeki dan semoga bolehlah terus menyara kereta anda, ya. Okey, selamat berjaya. Dan dan komen seterusnya, Peter, A6 hybrid, buy lah, you will regret. You can get one for the price of a new full spec Myvi. Well, you see, the thing about car buying decision is this: it's never straightforward. There are car purchases that you will regret, and there are car purchases that you would absolutely love. I suppose it's easier to regret. It's less painful to regret a 50,000 ringgit purchase versus a 200,000 ringgit purchase, right? See, the thing is that there's always mixed experiences. You can have people like Tana and Mark Francis who had good experience with their cars and with their A6 hybrids, and there are those with not so good experiences. But one thing is for sure, if you are out there looking for an A6 hybrid, because of the stigma associated with that car, whether fairly or unfairly, okay, because of the stigma associated with that car, you can bargain hard at the seller. You can tekan the price kau. So it's not that sought after a car, which means you as the buyer, you have very strong bargaining power. Okay. But as always, with any car, do your due diligence. Be sure to have the car thoroughly checked. We have inspection centers for you. Go check out our list of 42 inspection centers throughout the country. Okay, Iketani 88. Really agree with you on the 6-speed gearbox on the E60. Feels like it's not as responsive and making the car lazy as compared to my old Zafiro 3.0. Been told by my mechanic the same thing too. Luckily, my engine is slightly leaky on car porch. No noticeable oil consumption yet. Finger crossed, touch wood. Yeah. If it's just minor oil leaks, the car should still be drivable. Of course, don't drive it too hard. And constantly check your oil level. All right. Be ready to top up if needed. Then once the MCO is lifted, go get your car checked. Okay. Ini komen bahasa Melayu. Volvo XC90 T8. InsyaAllah sedang berusaha untuk mendapatkan. Lambat pun tak apa. Saya dah ke Volvo bulan lepas untuk dapatkan info. Memang terbaik. XC90 2020 T8. Okey. Abang Azizul Misbah, selamat berjaya. Semoga murah rezeki. Henry Siu. Con is always hungry, as the Aurizn team members are saying. I would say reports of my hunger is greatly exaggerated. Auto Red Zone, thanks for answering my question on Mazda 6. You're welcome. Happy hunting. Hi, Fermi paradox. Hi, Con. Do you think if Proton using the E01 engine from Petronas, will it be a huge success? Also, what if Lotus put out a sedan that price under 60K? Would you buy it? That one is wishful thinking lah. Well, there was a Lotus sedan under 60K. It was called the Waja. As for the E01 engine, it's a it is a fabulous engine, well engineered, very up to date at that point. But when you look at the numbers, the performance numbers of that engine, it seems to point to driving characteristics like the Honda K20A in the Civic FD2R, which is fantastic to use on a track, but I'm not so sure if it's good for daily driving, because this engine develops its peak torque at high RPMs. Means that if you want to get the car moving at a decent rate, you have to consistently rev the engine. And yeah, which may get, that kind of driving may get tiresome for day-to-day driving. Of course, the enthusiasts will love it. Okay, but I would say that the potential for day-to-day use is extremely limited. And such an engine, such a engine character, right, makes for poor pairing with automatic transmissions. So I would think that the commercial potential of the engine actually is rather low. The commercial potential of the engine on its own. Okay, but if you were to take piecemeal bits of that engine's technology and apply it on other engines, then perhaps yes. But you see, the thing is that Proton's problems in the mid 2000s were never about engines. I mean, well, the Proton Campro engine was not perfect, but they did the job. The issue with Protons of that era was all the little things: power window fail, water leaking, fuel pump gong. Okay, all the little things that won't get you on a flatbed, but gets you visiting the service center too often for a lot of people's liking. Okay, so yeah, it is those things really that got people turned off towards Proton, not because of engines. Okay, and the thing is that if Proton had put the Petronas E01 engine on their cars, and they still and all those same quality issues that bugged their cars for the past for all those past 10-15 years were still there, the script would still have been the same. It would still have been the same. You know, the E01 engine would have gotten enthusiast appeal, but the appeal, the mass market appeal of that engine is, I would say, fairly limited. DC Sharky 7. Hey Con, which is your pick between MC6 versus PS4 versus RE003? I've not tried the RE003 before. The MC6 is not bad, but I would say if you were to give me an unlimited budget, I'll go for a PS4. The MC6 is also not a bad tire for its choice, a good all-rounder, but the PS4 is just a sportier tire. Okay, sales tree, Packlin. How much is the interest rate for second-hand cars usually? How is it calculated? What does the year of car correlated with this deposit as well? Understand for a new car, it usually falls within 2 to 2.5% interest. Now, I don't know how the banks determine the interest rate to calculate based on the car age, but we do know these few general rules. The older the car, the higher the interest rate. That's one. Second is the financing margin also gets lower as the car ages. So if say you're looking at buying a car, a 3-year-old car valued at 100,000 versus a 7-year-old car valued at 100,000. The 3-year-old car, you may be able to get 80 to 90,000 ringgit loan, whereas the 7-year-old car, you may only be able to get 50 to 60,000 ringgit. Yeah. And also the loan tenure will be shorter as the car ages. So definitely won't be able to get full 9 years. Maybe 6 years. So as the car gets older, you're looking at shorter loan tenure as well, which means overall higher installments perhaps, but also you repay it over a shorter time frame. Okay, which means that also it also answers another part of your question. Do you have to pay a higher deposit if you buy an older car? Well, the answer is based on if you transact based on the car's value declared by the bank, then yes, you will have to pay a higher deposit. Okay, because the bank will only loan you a smaller fraction of the car's value. MC, hey Con, what were you eating over the whole video? I'm hungry looking at it. This is a comment on my day 37 video. It's popcorn from this snack supplier, Signature Snacks, which my wife ordered online. S1 Jihad. I'm a huge fan of the new BMW G20 and was planning to get a 330i. However, I've heard about the really harsh passive suspension, and this could be a deal breaker as I'll be fetching my old folks at the back from time to time. How harsh exactly is the suspension? Will the 320i be any better? I can live without the M Sport stuff and higher horsepower and torque, but what I'm bummed about is the lack of the iDrive 7.0 system in the 320i. I'm worried that a couple of years down the road it will look and feel really dated. Henry Seal replied to your comment, try to avoid the G20 330i at any cost if ride comfort is your priority. The ride is firmer than the M4 in comfort mode. If you really want to get a 330i, consider a pre-owned G30 530i M Sport instead, which comes at the price thereabout of a new 330i, else opt for the Mercedes-Benz C300, which is not, which is fair choice, right? You can actually consider a pre-registered G30 530i, which is actually more comfortable, or the Mercedes C300, which is also more comfortable, doesn't handle as well, but not by much, but handles well enough. So the question that you have to address your concern regarding the iDrive, well, the thing is this: do you plan to keep the car for long? Because if you are, then actually what you can do is, after the warranty expires, there are plenty of suppliers out there who would upgrade your iDrive to the latest one. You see, because the thing is this: all these all these new cars with their electronic architecture, right? The features are all built into the software one. So your G30, your G20 330i, 320i, actually has all the necessary wiring and software in there to be able to accept the higher the more advanced iDrive system. Okay, what needs to be done is that you need a good programmer to be able to recode the car's electronics. Okay, and there are people out there offering these services on Facebook, so you can go look for that. And yeah, once the warranty expires, you can very easily upgrade your car to feature the latest iDrive system. That to me is not a deal breaker at all. But yeah, overall I would say, looking at the G20, right, from pictures, I personally prefer the 320i. Okay, and if you're saying that the only the only turn off for you from the 320 is the iDrive, then I think that's a very easily fixable thing. And you're looking, and you said you are worried it will get outdated a few years down the road, ma. So a few years down the road, you pay someone to upgrade your iDrive law. Okay, it can be done. Okay, it can be done, but it won't be cheap. Maybe 2,000-3,000 ringgit, that kind of money, but it can be done. I mean, we have even right now, right? I've seen before pre-facelift F10 5 Series or F30s upgrading to the latest generation BMW iDrive system and digital instrument cluster. So it can be done. Park Wan Chow. Hi Con, I remember you mentioned that you looked into the E90 323 before you commit to your current BMW. Possible to share more about your experience about the 323? What should I look out for during shopping process of a 323? How much cash should I be keeping to recondition the car? Set aside about 5 or 10,000, you should be fine. But of course, the safest is bring your car into one of our inspection centers, have it checked. Then the workshop will be able to give you a rough quote of the things in that car that needs fixing and how much. Okay, that way you get a good estimation. And then you will know roughly what are the things that that needs to be fixed. You see, the thing is this: when you buy a used car, right, it's okay to not fix everything at one go. You can slowly fix it up, and you can start with. I always start with this philosophy once. Start with the things that will get you on, that will put you on a flat bed. Then you attack. Then after that, once you sort those out, you attack things that will put you on limb mode. Then after that, you attack things that give you warning lights, but your car can still drive normally. Okay, so with a 323 or 325, I think if you have about a budget of 5 or 10K, you should be able to get the car in a drivable condition, daily drivable condition, not fault free, but definitely drivable. Okay, with the E90, always watch out for the cooling system. Ensure that the cooling system is checked, water pump, thermostat, all the hoses, radiator, check the Vanos system. Also check for gearbox servicing history. You see, the tricky thing about the E90 is this. BMW Malaysia tells owners that the gearbox, the transmission is the transmission fluid is lifetime filled, so don't have to change. But you see, in our climate, right, that is really not a good idea. So you do have to check, you do have to see if the previous owner was someone who actually took the initiative to have the transmission fluids replaced. Okay, and when you test drive the car, watch out for jerks in the in the gear shifting. All right. Yeah, of course, always insist on a full service history, but otherwise, the E90, the 6-cylinder E90s are not scary cars to own, as far as I know. Oil consumption, watch out for oil consumption as well. Okay, that's the piston rings. So the other thing is that the E90, the steering is rather heavy. So if you are letting your wife drive the car, you may want her to test drive it before you commit to the purchase. It may or may not be to her liking. Okay, but the E90's handling is fantastic. You actually don't need the M Sport variant to get good handling. Even the standard 323, all right, the one with standard suspension, has good handling properties as well. More comfortable suspension. A lot of people say a lot of people will go for the 325, okay, because the 323 is detuned. But see, the thing is that the 323, even though it's detuned, it's still a relatively powerful engine for the car size. And I think balance-wise, the 323 strikes a nice balance, okay, in terms of smoothness, in terms of comfort, in terms of refinement. So for me, my pick of the E90 range would be a 323. Of course, the 325 is a fair choice as well if you want a more dynamic drive. But yeah, simple issues to look out for, have them fixed, and yeah, set aside about 5K. You should be fine. But most important is get the car checked. At least that way you know how much you need to spend on the car's potential restoration. And let's see. Nicholas Choi, thanks Con for answering the question. What do you think of the Cayman? Should go for the 2.7, 2.9 or 3.4? Is the 2.7 adequate? It is lah, actually it is. So I don't see an issue going for the 2.7. The greater aspect of the Cayman's appeal is not really sheer performance per se, but more of the balance, the mid-engine balance of the car, the handling balance. That's the real point of the Cayman. It's not about speed. It's about balance. You know, it's about the handling agility of a rear wheel of a mid-engine car. Car Guy 66, N20 timing chain needs to be replaced at 50K. For BMW, it's safer to go 6-cylinder engines. It's nicer too. But you see, the thing with this N20 timing chain, it's something that is predictable. It's something that people know about. So you can budget for it. The man. Well, we have a lot of time, so let's start a discussion. The new Mazda 3 has tons of really good stuff going for it. The styling and interior, a particular highlight. But the fact that it has a torsion beam at the rear axle really puts me off. Yes, they say it makes the front turn in better and yada yada, but the truth is a fully independent setup will simply yield more freedom for tuning and breadth of ability. They may have spent a lot of money on making the torsion beam work better than others, but I firmly believe the same money spent could easily went into making a multi-link work with better results. There's good reason why manufacturers like VW and Mercedes are offering torsion beams on cheaper models and multi-links on more expensive models on their hatchbacks. Despite the marketing talk, I think they did this just to keep the manufacturing cost low, as they have evidently spent lots of money on the beautiful interior. So even if it does handle brilliantly, just the thought that one will be paying such an amount for a torsion beam at the back is really disappointing. Your views on this? I think it doesn't matter to people that don't know. As the saying goes, right, what you don't know does not hurt you. I am personally somebody who's very particular about this. So, and I am somebody, and here's something I'd like to offer a point of view. So shortly after reviewing the Mazda 3, I also had a chance to drive the new Corolla, okay, the one with the TNGA platform, rear double wishbones. And I'll say this, the new Corolla handles better than the Mazda 3. But when you sit in the Corolla and you sit in the Mazda 3, you look at the way the Mazda 3 is built, the way the Mazda 3 is finished, it still feels a segment up on the Corolla in terms of its position, in terms of its build quality and its overall refinement on the move. So granted, the Mazda 3 does not handle as well as a car with a rear torsion beam. It paints a convincing picture that Mazda is able to do beautiful, almost luxurious levels of cabin finishing. Okay, so that's where their money went. That you raise a valid point, you see, because at there's the argument that says that you can make a torsion beam handle better than you can make a car with torsion beam handle better with a car with multi-link. Okay, that's all down to tuning. It's all down to how you make use of the elements. But there's also no refuting the argument that the multi-link rear suspension is an inherently superior setup compared to the torsion beam. That's why you don't see race cars, for example, using torsion beam rear suspension. But Mazda also made one pointed argument, is that they actually acknowledged that for enthusiast driving, okay, the multi-link setup is superior. But for day-to-day driving, the torsion beam is the one that enables them to extract the kind of characteristics that they want to achieve with the Mazda 3. So one point that they showed to me is, one, because of fewer linkages, okay, they are able to reduce the noise levels coming from the rear suspension. And the other thing is the deterioration of performance. Now, as you know, suspension components are wear and tear parts, all right? And when you have a multi-link setup, you have a lot of arm, this arm, this control arm, that short lower arm and all that, right? So all these control arms are connected with each other by bushes, and bushes wear. So in a multi-link setup, there are more bushes to wear out. And as these bushes wear out, the performance of your suspension deteriorates. So your car with multi-link, brand new, definitely handles well. But as the car ages, as you drive it, the deterioration of performance in your multi-link car will also be rather severe. Versus a torsion beam where it starts off at this level, because there are fewer bushes that wear out, right? The deterioration in performance also happens to be slower. Okay, so that's the point. Those are the points that Mazda engineers argue with me. I mean, it's up to us, the buyer, whether we choose to accept it or not. But for me, when I drove the Mazda 3 and the Corolla, I personally find that I still prefer a car with the handling characteristics of rear independent suspension. Okay, but that's my view. Yep, so that's all the questions and I have for this video. So guys, thank you very much all for your support. Thank you for viewing. Do hope that those of you guys who answered, whose questions I answered, hope my responses were useful, and look forward to see you again in my next video. To all our Muslim brothers and sisters, selamat berpuasa. depending on what time you guys are watching this. If you're watching this in the evening, selamat berbuka puasa. And yeah, may you all have a meaningful Ramadan. Okay, I know we are all stuck at home, but yeah, hope we are all able to make the best out of this period at home. And everybody stay safe, stay home, stay healthy, and hopefully we will be out there seeing each other soon. Okay, take care, guys.
yang berkaitan, tapi saya akan ceritakan serba sedikit tentang berpuasa ni daripada segi perspektif logik, sebab agama Islam tu sendiri adalah agama yang logik, agama yang sejajar dengan knowledge dan sains. So tanpa membuang masa, saya akan terangkan 3 sebab kenapa orang Islam disuruh berpuasa.